name and where you're texting from.
Neil Green at breakfast. BBC Radio Teams.
Before 7:10, I was over the moon to get a message from a local lad. He's called Adam Petson. He's from the borough, and the last time I spoke to him, he was at the start of what has been a remarkable journey, his alcohol addiction recovery journey, this is. And he wanted to meet back up, really, because 4 years on, you fast forward 4 years, a lot of things change in anybody's lives, even in 4 months. But he wanted to share his story and his update to help other people. So I went to catch up with him at a place called A Fork in the Road. It's the cafe in Middlesbrough.
I was around 16, 17 when I started drinking in the way that I did for the next 20 years. Drinking to the extreme, causing trouble, fighting, just going above and beyond what was really my inner core of my personality, but that just allowed me to have a personality, and I had an identity with these people, and then that just carried on and escalated, and then I had 2 significant bereavements in my life when I was in my early 20s. So my oldest brother died from a cocaine addiction, and then 9 months later my second oldest brother, he also died through a heroin overdose. And then for me, that was the real catalyst. That grief and that sorrow, that was what just absolutely drove my addiction, and my addiction thrived off it. The problem was then that not only did I have grief and sorrow and all the other emotional things that I couldn't deal with, I then had my addiction to alcohol on top. I went to prison. I spent not much time in prison, but long enough in prison to say, I've been incarcerated. Even that wasn't enough to stop me drinking. In and out of hospital, I must have been in hospital about 10 times, at least, being detoxed.
So what was the breaking point? Where was that moment where you go, I either change direction now, or this is going to kill us?
I had an episode at work where I was withdrawing, and I swallowed my tongue. I was in hospital, again, being detoxed, and knew that my parents were going away on holiday. My plan was to go to their home, let myself in, stay there for 2 weeks, probably drink the house dry, and then deal with the consequences afterwards. So I left the hospital. I didn't even discharge myself. I walked over there in my gown, cannula still in my arm. When I got to the house, I put my key in the door and the key wouldn't fit. My parents had changed the locks, and I think they'd finally realised that even they couldn't help me anymore. And for me, I can't explain that feeling inside. That was the moment that broke me emotionally. The 2 people in the world that I thought I could rely on forever, my parents, even they had to turn their back on me because I was so destructive in everything I was doing. That was the moment when I said, I cannot live like this anymore. Something has to change. I'm at a fork in the road, and I'm literally going to go one of 2 ways. I'm going to die, or I'm going to do something about it. And I don't know what that looks like, but I'm willing to try.
We honestly had so much to talk about and catch up on in those 4 years, and Adam then told me about how really he'd started to get his life, thankfully, back on track, and he's now helping other people struggling with addiction.
I enrolled in Middlesbrough College, and I did an access to higher education course, and I just had to have blind, faith that I've gotten this far, and if I keep doing the right thing, behave the right way, then it can only progress into something worthwhile.
Adam, it's not certainly all been plain sailing by any means. The first 2 years have been off the drink as well. There were struggles along the way, and there were triggers as well.
It's the little things that you don't expect which seem to cause the major problems. I was driving through Easterside, and I got pulled over by the police. I'd only just started driving again. I'd lost my licence, and so I was so excited about being on the road and having my freedom. Unbeknown to me, I'd missed various bits of the admin process out. So when I actually thought I was insured, I wasn't. And that moment when I was stood watching my lovely car being towed away, my access to freedom, that moment I just decided, and I pressed that great big red button, and I said, that's it, I'm getting drunk. Luckily for me, as I was walking, everything that I'd learned, all the interventions that had been shown, the work that had been done with me, started to form in my own head. I started to think about the consequences of my actions. Life is difficult, things will happen. It's just how you react to that. That is the main thing.
5 years on, 5 years on, you are now the Building Recovery in Middlesbrough lead. Just explain just the significance of that for not just Middlesbrough, but for the people of Teesside.
The services in Middlesbrough now are probably one of the best in the country, and I've been really fortunate to be part of it. There's been a lot of money pumped in to the services from central government, and it's a thing called Project Adder, and what they're looking to do is change the way that the services are applied, what that looks like, and make it a fully encompassing wraparound service for the people in the area, so that people can get the support and intervention that they need as early as possible, and that there's a clear, smooth process which will direct that person wherever they need to go. Where I work, on average, through our doors, on a monthly basis, we get between 300-400 people coming through the door, accessing the service. These are people who are, continually coming back, and they're coming back because it's a place of belonging for them, and it's where they get what they need to build what we call recovery capital. Put simply, the model that we're trying to build is somewhere to live, something to do, and someone to love, and it's as simple as that. If you could see the community that we're building now of people who were living the same kind of life as me, doesn't matter about the substance, and now actually have all of these amazing things within their life. They have friends again, they have family again, they have a purpose. That is the difference. They have a purpose.
It's incredible, honestly, what you and the team are doing. I've got one more question to do with you. You've just literally come back from holiday, haven't you, the last few days? And I've never been able to ask somebody who's a former addict, recovering addict, alcoholic.
Yeah.
How tempted were you? When the bar's there in front of you, or absolutely nowhere?
Not in the slightest. It does cross my mind, but I quickly dismiss it, and I just instantly think to myself, why would I give up everything that I've got? Why would I part with the peace of mind that I have got at this moment in time? Why would I go back to a life of chaos for the sake of a pint? I'm in a very happy relationship. I'm doing well at work. I have a good connection with my family. The beauty is, for me now, I know my parents go to bed on a night and they can have a good night's sleep. They don't have to worry about where their son is. Is their son even alive? I've got my education, which is testing at times, but I'm loving learning. I'm loving adding more skills and knowledge to what I do as a career. I've just finished my degree in psychology and counselling, and I'm now embarking on a master's in trauma-informed practice. So for me, life it's just incredible. There aren't enough superlatives for me to be able to add into this conversation as to how good I feel.
And I tell you what, I did put it to him, is it just the holiday and it's that come down, but it's far from it. What they're achieving, what Adam himself is achieving to help people get over what is an extremely difficult time. And he said that can go one or two ways and very quickly in somebody's life, but to have that helping hand along the way as well, he is loving every day of doing that. Adam Petson with us here at BBC Radio Tees, and we wish him well. We'll let you know how he continues to grow in his career as well.